Hello, I'm Steve Irwin, President of U.S. Bank in Nebraska. We are proud to join NET in sponsoring Husker Volleyball. U.S. Bank has been supporting the program for more than 20 years. The coaches and young women involved in Husker Volleyball have represented Nebraska as true champions. At U.S. Bank, we look forward to cheering them to victory for many years to come.
Since 1989, Talent Plus has been assisting clients with the recruitment, selection, development, and recognition of talent in the workplace. With offices in Lincoln and Singapore, associates provide talent, teamwork, and leadership to over 200 clients around the world.
Lincoln Benefit Life, dedicated to helping others realize their financial goals and dreams since 1938. Your financial security is their business. Bison, supporting youth, high school, and college athletics since 1985. On the web at bisoninc.com or 1-800-247-7668. The Match Club, a booster club of over 800 members supporting Husker Volleyball. Fellow enthusiasts participate in special events to meet the players and travel to away matches in support of the team. Information available at thematchclub.org.
I just said to them that you three will be on the court when we win our first national championship.
Coach Terry Pettit's vision elevates Nebraska volleyball. John Cook's teams reach new heights, but it would come from a devastating defeat.
We're not going to let a loss beat us twice, so we're going to learn from that loss.
It takes a trip to China, determined athletes, and leadership to find a way to win.
Being able to look each other in the eye and say, we're not going to get this done if we do it individually.
With the odds stacked against them, a team puts everything on the line, on the biggest stage in collegiate volleyball history.
They just believed. They knew somehow they would find a way.
They win the 2006 National Championship.
One of the many gifts Coach Pettit gave this state, certainly the sport of volleyball, is the manner in which he handled the transition. To give up a team that had national championship caliber shows his generosity. For him to choose John Cook and to help persuade him to leave a terrific job at Wisconsin to come here shows Coach Pettit's powers of persuasion.
He and Coach Cook are very different in their personalities, but I think in their coaching styles, they're very similar in that they both teach technically good volleyball. They take a player and they say, if you have some athletic ability, we can teach you volleyball.
John knew the culture of Nebraska, knew how to be his own coach and be his own person, and yet build on the foundation that had been established here.
It was a goal of our team every year is we want to win conference and we want to be a contender for the national championship. We want to be in that fight.
In what is to be a transition year, Coach Cook's first team goes undefeated and plays for the national championship. In a strange twist of fate, Nebraska's opponent is Wisconsin. After falling behind 2-1, Nebraska easily wins Game 4 to force a rally-scoring fifth game for the national title.
Set Kulikowski, and she puts it away! Nebraska has made history!
When we won the national championship in 2000, I really never enjoyed any part of that match because we were playing against Wisconsin, which was the school I had left to come to Nebraska. So for me, it was a no-win match.
That team that year had just absolutely great chemistry. They had great trust in each other. I think when you looked out on the court at any given time, you saw 6 players that were together as one unit.
The Huskers become the second team in NCAA history to finish a season undefeated. First-year Nebraska head coach John Cook is named National Coach of the Year.
He is a tireless worker. He's a master motivator. I mean, he is always thinking and scheming and coming up with stuff, and it usually works in the end.
John Cook spent his college years attending San Diego University and San Diego State. Cook's coaching style is influenced by his own experience as a competitive men's sand volleyball player.
Great hit by John Cook, sharp angle cross.
I love the setter position. I loved a fast tempo. I think John comes from more of a men's volleyball background. And men's volleyball is it's dominated more by outside hitters. And so you see Pavin and Hotelling and Jordan Larson. That's what the offense comes from, a different position. There's no right or wrong to either way, any more than there's a right or wrong to running the football or passing the football.
Cook's style of play builds on Pettit's early success. In 2005, the Huskers are back in the chase for a third national championship. Ranked number 1 the entire 2005 season, Nebraska falls only to rival Texas, yet dominates other opponents. Nebraska wins its 5th Big 12 championship under head coach John Cook. The Huskers advance at the NCAA Regionals, playing before a record volleyball crowd of 15,000 at the Quest Center in Omaha. Sweeping UCLA and sailing past 4th-ranked Florida, the Huskers travel south to the NCAA Final Four in San Antonio.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, for the second of 2 semifinals. Nebraska is facing unseeded Santa Clara.
In Game 1 of the NCAA Championships, senior Melissa Elmer led 3 players in double-figure kills as number 1 Nebraska pounded Santa Clara in a 3-0 sweep, advancing to the championship match against number 2 Washington.
After seeing Nebraska tonight, are they one of the better teams maybe in the history of the sport?
For sure, the way they played tonight, I could see it in their eyes. They definitely want this on Saturday night, and they seem prepared.
It's great to be in another Final Four. Hats off to the players, coaches, Coach of the Year.
Leading up to the championship game, the National Volleyball Coaches Association names John Cook Coach of the Year. Senior Melissa Elmer and sophomore Sarah Pavin earns first-team All-American honors. And junior Christina Hotelling is named All-American and National Player of the Year.
We've got the University of Nebraska Coliseum. We've got the University of Nebraska Coliseum East. And now we have the University of Nebraska Coliseum South.
We've got a Husker huddle put on by the Capital Texans for Nebraska. They just invited the Match Club and the Huskers to come over for a little socialize.
So we thought we'd practice tonight just to make sure that everybody is on track. Dang, you guys are good.
We're number 1,
We're
guys.
number 1.
There's
no question about it.
No question about it. Huskies are going to kick some booty.
No.
5 o'clock tomorrow.
Huskers.
The Alamo Dome crowd of 9,000 is saturated in red.
Half this stadium is probably Nebraska people, whether it's the Texans for Nebraskans or the people that actually came down from Lincoln and Fremont and Cambridge and Hooper and everywhere else. It's pretty amazing.
Confident of Nebraska's edge in size, power, and strength, many fans expect a Husker sweep.
We need to win one more match, and so we can hang up the national championship in Nebraska. I love saying the Husker Nation, man. They're the best. They're it, man.
Nebraska appears unstoppable.
The NCAA Women's Volleyball National Championship descends upon San Antonio, Texas, and it's a showdown of number 1 and number 2, the Nebraska Huskers and the Washington Huskies.
We were built up, that we were the King Kong. We were the unbeatable team, and I think that was great fuel for Washington as motivation to kind of, be the underdogs.
I do believe it worked to our advantage, for sure. It made it a little bit tougher on them, and it didn't make it any tougher on us, but, we never talked about it. We just talked about doing the things we had done all year and just being a little bit better at those things.
Rejection and a quick timeout by John Cook.
That first time out, I actually loosened them up a little bit by saying that we just made history. That was the earliest timeout ever at a Final Four. Well, some people think it was a brilliant timeout. Some people think it was an idiotic timeout. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have done the same thing. I saw, Christina Hoteling make a major mistake and Sarah Pavin make a major mistake. So I thought, slow things down, call a timeout, get them refocused, loosen them up a little bit, and let's try again.
Just look at the dynamics of the team you saw. They were tight. The expectation was out there, and sometimes that expectation can cripple you, and that did with that team, which you never want to happen. It's something sometimes you can't control, but it happened with that team.
We could just not do anything right. It was just, everything went right on their side, and we were just pressing, and we just could not do anything.
It wasn't just one person was having a bad game, it was all of us, and we just weren't strong enough mentally, and Washington had that edge on us. They'd been there before, and it was weird and confusing. We'd never been put in that position before. We usually stepped up, performed, just conquered everything and moved on.
The setters couldn't get in rhythm. We ran into one of the hottest postseason setters of all time in Courtney Thompson. Nebraska rarely led. I remember early game 3, the Huskers had a short, brief lead, and I made some comment like, well, Huskers are suddenly passing like a BMW on the Autobahn. It was like the first time I really had a happy moment. The Huskers had been staring at Washington's taillights the entire doggone game.
We just kind of were just individuals out there on the court. We weren't really trusting each other and, trusting our preparation up until that point. And it just, it just didn't work out for us.
Griffin to Elmer. Blocked! And it's over! The Washington Huskies, in a stunning 3-game sweep, win the program's first ever national championship.
They were playing at a very high level for them, and I think it's probably, their greatest match of the year. What was disappointing for us is that we didn't play our best match. But we're not going to let a loss beat us twice, so we're going to learn from that loss.
I didn't feel like I had a very good season, that year, and was we kind of disappointed in my own performance, and so that shed a pretty, poor light on the season itself.
It was definitely, a sad time and a disappointment. I mean, the season was great, and the journey to get to the Final Four was great, but I think after that game, just seeing how we played and kind of let ourselves down.
I was angry because I wanted to do so much more, and it was just a really bad feeling, especially being like, I've never been in a position like that before, especially in volleyball. So what do I do now?
That loss stung for a lot of reasons. There were many subplots on that day. One that fans may not be aware of is that the two coaches genuinely have a personal rivalry. I mean, it's built on respect, but there's a real rivalry there, going certainly back to Kansas State when McLaughlin was there, and then also when they both were Southern Californians. And for the match to be that lopsided, I know personally hurt John Cook. And the nature of the loss and how lopsided it was, and the struggles of the whole team really hurt the Huskers.
And the only thing I can say to the non-seniors is you have a chance to do this again in Omaha. There's no reason why we can't win this next year. No reason.
Today's a great day for Nebraska volleyball. Not that we lost the national championship, but that we were here and competed for it, and that it isn't a one-time thing. It's not a comet. You know, every year they're working hard to put themselves in the event, and that's really all you can take charge of.
It didn't end like we wanted to tonight, but it certainly was a lot of great things that happened. The other positive is we only have 2 seniors on this team, so we have the core of our team coming back that will have a chance to try to do this in Omaha. And once you've been through this and go through that, if you can get there again, you know, we'll be much better prepared to know what it's going to take to play in the finals.
Nebraska's elite status in collegiate women's volleyball takes decades to develop. Long before there are trips to the Final Four and national championships, Nebraska volleyball and women's athletics is forced to work through some very lean times. It isn't easy for women to gain acceptance in the world of male-dominated sports. The first women athletes competed in loosely organized and unfunded events. The equipment is hand-me-downs, and wool is the sportswear choice of the day. Through the 1900s, women's athletics continues to make positive strides. But it isn't until the 1970s that athletic equality became a national concern. In 1972, at a time when Watergate and Vietnam gripped the attention of the nation, President Richard Nixon signed Title IX legislation. Title IX forbids discrimination in education on the basis of sex. In collegiate athletics, Title IX forces schools to equalize spending on men's and women's sports or lose federal funding.
When I work with young women who may be in their first couple of years of coaching or who are collegiate athletes, is when I hear them say, so what is Title IX? Because I think, here's somebody who's 20 years old or 22 or 23 years old, and they've never had the experience of feeling like a second-class citizen because they don't even know what Title IX is.
I was one of the first products of Title IX, those first scholarship players that had that opportunity. And I just remember the excitement of actually signing a national letter of intent, and that is something that it wasn't done. There weren't pictures in the paper. There weren't signing days.
When I tell them stories, they're thinking I'm telling them that we walked to school backwards in 5 miles of snow, barefoot, you know, that whole thing. It was a huge deal when we got our first sweatsuit. It was a huge deal when we got workout attire that we were actually all in red and white at practice versus whatever colors we had in our closet. When we went from 4 people in a room to 2 people in a room, that was awesome. Everybody had their own bed. We didn't know what we didn't know. We just, again, we thought, man, we're getting the opportunity to play. Isn't this awesome?
Women's volleyball becomes a Big 8 sanctioned sport soon after Title IX is enacted. In Nebraska volleyball's first 2 seasons, Pat Sullivan's team earns an 83-21 record and wins the Big 8 regular season in 1975 and the tournament championship in '76. After the '76 season, Coach Sullivan moves on. A search for a new head volleyball coach is underway.
My first teaching job was as an assistant professor of English at Lewisburg College in Lewisburg, North Carolina. And Title IX had just come in. And when they hired me, they needed somebody to do a lot of things. So I was hired as an English teacher and sponsor of the literary magazine and tennis coach and golf coach. And then they saw volleyball on my resume. And at the time, I didn't know that they meant women's volleyball because there really wasn't organized sport prior to Title IX at the collegiate level for women.
After a year of coaching volleyball at Lewisburg, Terry Pettit is urged by fellow Lewisburg coach Paul Sanaford to take a look at the Nebraska coaching opening. Pettit is hired by athletic director Bob Devaney in 1977 to head the Nebraska volleyball program.
The first year, there were a lot of players, but most of them were not on scholarship. We probably had 125 to 150 fans in the Coliseum, and we used folding chairs. We set up the nets and we washed the court and really did everything. The key was there was talent. So there was talent at Nebraska when I got there. Not necessarily skilled players, but talented athletes who could run, jump, and throw, and we were very fortunate to have that.
In 1977, in his first season as Nebraska's head volleyball coach, Pettit's team wins his first of 21 conference championships.
He's a visionary, which I think separates him from a lot of people. Early on, he saw what it could be, made 5-year plans, 2-year plans, 10-year plans for how to get it to where he thought it could be, and I'll be darned if it isn't there.
I think my goals were the same as any developing coach, and that was to keep my job. In other words, I'm not sure that the vision I had is the vision that emerged. Initially, it was to develop as a coach, to develop as a program, to be competitive, to move on to the next level.
He had to look around and go, oh my gosh, every high school football player in this country grew up wanting to play football at Nebraska. I'm smart enough to figure out, he said to himself, that can happen in another sport. And so what do we do the first thing once we let our team out onto the floor? The very next thing I do is to start to train coaches, talk about the sport, get them to believe that the next thing that has to happen is the high school and junior programs in this state are going to grow, and we're going to teach them well, and we're going to teach them in the Cornhusker way, and they're going to grow up wanting to go here.
Nebraskans, maybe more than any other culture, are attracted to consistency, and it's hard to win Nebraskans over. But in time, if you continually have a good product, if you continually are successful, if you continually win, in time you will develop a following. What we tried to do was look out and, instead of seeing something as a weakness, leverage it as a strength. And certainly the successful football program helped. In two ways. One, it gave you the resources to have a budget to compete, but secondly, even though somebody might not have heard of Nebraska volleyball initially, when you went into the home and talked with the parents, they were aware of a nationally competitive program at the school. All these things had to come together. I mean, there are literally thousands of people and thousands of decisions that had to be made, and then you had to have some grace on top of it.
Terry Pettit develops a formula for success in women's volleyball in ways former coach and athletic director Bob Devaney achieves in football.
How could anybody not like Coach Devaney? He had great integrity. He told you what he thought. He didn't quite understand it all because in the middle of the second game, a timeout was called. He thought the match was over. So he came out in my huddle and shook my hand. And then he walked out.
And it wasn't the time.
I always felt personal support from him. Sometimes if he didn't like something or like being reminded about something, and he'd say, Terry, next time this comes up, you ought to take another job or something. He'd always call me the next day and say, hey, I didn't mean that. You're doing a great job. He had the most important thing, I think, in developing trust. You had access to him, and you could believe what he said.
Between you two guys.
As athletic director, Bob Devaney is supportive of women's athletics. But it isn't until Dr. Barbara Hibner is selected as assistant AD in 1976 that Nebraska volleyball has a true advocate. Under Dr. Hibner's leadership, all women's sports take a big step forward. Hibner sees the Nebraska Athletic Department grow from 10 women's varsity sports in 1978 to the current 13 sports, which leads the Big 12 Conference, providing Nebraska women 117 scholarship opportunities.
she was critical to the development, the continued development of Nebraska volleyball.
She's a giant in what happened here. Anybody that spent any time around Barb Hibner knows that she talks about labor of love and duty of happiness. So her total focus was trying to enhance opportunities for the student athlete. I think that's what separated Nebraska. I think it was never perceived as we're fighting for something. It's more like we're going after something. And we're gonna be the front runner, and we're gonna invest. And it started, Dr. Hibner talked a lot about Coach Devaney really saying to her, you know what, Barb, run this thing and go. Tell me what you need. And, you know, of course, there were limitations. We have obviously more resources now, but yet the fact that he had that open-mindedness to empower her to run and lead a program really did set Nebraska out ahead of the curve.
The modern situation really didn't start to occur until probably the early 1980s, when we really shifted the court, changed the orientation in the Coliseum, and then in the toward 1990 we renovated the Coliseum and brought in bleachers, and as soon as we did that, fans filled them. I used to quote Churchill, who said in the beginning, you know, we build buildings, in the end we're shaped by the buildings that we live in. And I think that's true with the Coliseum. I saw it as theater, that we didn't care whether the building was old, we didn't care whether the seats needed painting. If you lighted it in the correct way, it was like a stage, and the athletes were the focal point.
Terry was one of the first volleyball coaches to sell our sport. And I mean that in a very positive way, to say, this is a spectator sport worth seeing and worth being part of. Let me tell you why. Let me show you why. Let me get you into the building so that you can see it and you can become part of it. He worked very hard to get facilities that were going to be fan-friendly, and he looked at his role as the head volleyball coach at Nebraska to be as much a salesman for his program as he was the coach of the athletes.
Terry Pettit's teams advanced to the NCAA tournament semifinals 6 times. In the mid-1990s, Nebraska volleyball moves to the next level of play.
In 1992, I gathered 3 of them at a water cooler: Allison Weston, Christy Johnson, Billy Winsett. Christy and Billy weren't even on the court yet, but I just said to them that you 3 will be on the court when we win our first national championship. And they just kind of looked at me and didn't know what it meant. I really wasn't talking about their volleyball skills. I was talking about their individual talents, which were complementary.
I just remember to this day that our 3 seniors, Billy, Allie, and Christy, that they just really took the players by the collar and said, we need to get this done and we need to do it right. And if not, we're not going to be a national champion.
I think they believed we could win a national championship even before I did. I certainly understood it analytically. I understood we had the talent to do it, but I think they believed it emotionally.
Christy Johnson kind of really, it was not her character to move people and to be aggressive with people, but she wanted it so badly that she was going to do whatever it took to move her other players to get on board.
She was able to do what was asked, which wasn't maybe natural to her. Leadership is not a position or a place you're elected to. It's having the courage to move from wherever you are to make a significant difference.
Match point number 3 coming up. Johnson's going to go to Weston. She told us yesterday in the clutch, she's my person to go to, Allie Weston. Pettit giving Cernich the serving signal. Go to Breitenfeld, he says. Oh! That'll do it. Nebraska has won the national national championship.
The best NCAA championships of all time.
Nebraska caps off a 32-1 season by defeating the Texas Longhorns 3-1. Terry Pettit's volleyball program wins its first national championship.
I can't believe it's over, but I just feel really lucky and blessed. And I'm sad that it's over, but I can't believe that we finished like this.
CJ, here's the truth. This season never ends for you. I mean, that's the truth. It never ends. I mean, it will be a major factor the rest of your life.
We made history, Red. Yeah.
Look at Tommy Frazier. How many tackles can one man break?
Days later, Tom Osborne's football team wins a national championship in the Fiesta Bowl. Nebraska's top men's and women's teams are at the height of national attention.
I think one reason that year was so special is because we had three tremendous leaders and people that you could kind of take the team along with them. For me, I think what was so interesting for my whole career, but also definitely that last year, was I learned so many things about how to be a leader, how to get people to follow you, how to be courageous, how to fight off the demons and fight off the fear and still perform. And that was definitely a learning experience and something I had to learn and teach myself about. Coach Pettit was instrumental in that. Kathy Noth was instrumental in that. Just, learning how to be a great player and a great player in crunch time. And that was probably the neatest thing about that year for me personally, is just, learning some of those life skills that I could take with me, the rest of my career.
Following her playing career, Christy Johnson is an assistant for John Cook at Wisconsin, and she becomes the head volleyball coach of the Iowa State Cyclones.
I still get really nervous coming here, and it's certainly anxious just to know that there's going to be all these people and a lot of my friends and family and people that watch me play as a player. I love coming here. I love this trip. It's the best place to play in the country, and I love that our team can experience that and experience this crowd and this atmosphere. It's very special. I learned a lot when I was a player here, and I've been able to take those experiences with me and pass them on to the next generation.
First of all, I think today is a great day for Nebraska volleyball.
At the end of the 1999 season, Terry Pettit makes a surprise move and turns the volleyball program over to his longtime friend and former NU assistant, John Cook. Cook has built a successful volleyball program at Wisconsin and now wins one of the top jobs in the history of collegiate athletics.
I just feel very fortunate that I have this opportunity, and
I was always keeping an eye out on who the next coach might be, and I felt if we waited another year, it wouldn't be John. That his kids were in elementary school, they loved Madison, he was building a great program, so there was a window there, and if I waited one more year, it wouldn't happen. I've always felt that there were two strong drives in me. One was competitive and one was creative. And the creative had kind of got pushed to the side. And I didn't want to wake up at the end of my life and say, boy, you didn't give this other muscle or other talent a chance. I felt time was more important to me, to have the opportunity to move on and do other things.
Terry Pettit manages a successful speaking and consulting business in Fort Collins, Colorado. He continues to direct leadership academies for Creighton and other universities in the region.
Jim Meehan mentioned the other day when we had lunch down in Naples.
I think John Cook had one of the most difficult jobs in coaching. Any sport, anytime. When you follow someone as successful as Terry Pettit was as a volleyball coach, it is tremendously, tremendously difficult to keep the program moving in a positive forward direction. History of sport is littered with the carcasses, if you will, of those who followed great coaches.
You're either going to go up or you're going to go down. And that was the great challenge, was could we take this program to another level and build on the foundation that he created? It's a special bond, and it's just something that, you know, really only him and I really know how hard we've had to work to make all this happen. But again, there's a lot of joy and love that goes into this program.
It's over! The Washington Huskies, in a stunning 3-game sweep, win the program's first ever national championship.
Very, very proud of you guys. Hold your heads up high.
For me, the process started the next day as far as thinking about how to get our team ready for 2006. Taking notice of all the things that happened that week and trying to figure out what went wrong and how we were going to correct that.
The journey to the Final Four in Omaha begins in a very distant place, Asia. Coach Cook takes his team on a competitive trip through Japan and China, where his 2000 team began their championship success. The Far East is recognized for developing the most competitive women volleyball players in the world. Cook's 2000 team ended their season winning a national championship. Could Asia provide Nebraska volleyball the foundation for another dream season?
One of the reasons I choose China, besides great volleyball, is it's a country that this generation will grow up with as far as being a major influence in their life, whether it's trade, influencing world politics. And the beautiful thing about going to China is there's no cell phone service, there's no text messaging, there's no boyfriends, there's no school.
We had everything taken away from us that we were used to. We were put into an uncomfortable situation. And being around people that don't speak your same language, you have no one else there except for your teammates. You know, and that kind of brought a lot of stress on right away.
They're jet lagged, we're going at a very fast pace, and we're playing against great competition every time we step on the court. And so that was really gonna mold us to become a great team, or it was gonna blow us up.
You are suddenly immersed in this whole new culture, and the first thing you're going to do is cling to what you know, and that's each other. That's, you know, what we do together that makes sense when all of this going on doesn't make sense.
I mean, we couldn't even call home for our parents, and that was really hard for me, but it brought us closer together, and I mean, we became a team in China, and that's when the journey began.
This version of Nebraska volleyball fared much better than that 2000 team. That team barely could win games against the professional Chinese teams. Nebraska 06 was very competitive and won matches. Maybe the best match they played all year was against this Japanese professional team. It was an amazing match, and there's so much passion. And the Huskers played very, very well, and the Huskers happened to pull that out. For 3 games, it was high drama and intensity.
China was probably one of the best things that I've done in my life so far, even though I wasn't looking forward to it that much because I've never been overseas before. I had never experienced anything like we were going to do. It's just amazing to say that I had the opportunity to go overseas and play volleyball. We experienced things that people never get to experience. I've never imagined when I was little, I could say I climbed the Great Wall or saw the beauty of Japan.
The funny thing is they were really fascinated with the blonde hair. So that was, I mean, you kind of felt
you know, it made you feel good going down there. You know, they wanted to take pictures. Oh, picture, picture, all the time. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Obviously, there's some great things to see, and I think they were inspired and in awe of the Great Wall and some of the places that we got to visit. One of the most revealing parts of the trip are some of the gyms that we played in. And the first gym that we played in was the home of the most valuable player of the 2004 Olympics, the setter from China. It was substandard to anything we would ever see in Nebraska, and I think that opened their eyes about how well they do have it here.
Clearly, the team was bonding in an important way, and it was easy to observe. Yes, we spent at most half of each day doing cultural things, but even they were meaningful and filled with history lessons.
In China, one of the great things for a team is when they have a meal or they serve a meal, you sit at a circle table and they bring the food out in the middle of the table. Well, they happen to bring out this major size fish head for this one meal.
Daddy, no. Do it. Just take a big bite out of it.
Somebody said, let's all take a bite of this fish head. And they all did. In a way, it was a team bonding type thing. You know, they all participated in this even though some of them didn't want to.
This experience made us all had to be together. Like whether it was senior or freshman, we had to either room together or doing different things. And like Coach Cook said was, are you comfortable with being uncomfortable?
Christina Hotelling's injury challenges really started in the middle of that trip. And you had a sense that, okay, she might not be available, certainly for this trip and maybe even for this season. And suddenly you had players like Amanda Gates, who was suddenly emerging as much more than just a part-time player. She and Rachel Schwartz, they're the glue that brings everyone together, and they became increasingly important. On that trip also, Danny Busboom was showing that she could become a libero and that she would enjoy the task as well. That also was engendering a lot of confidence. The Danny Mancuso became important on that trip because with the prospect of no Christina Hotelling, you know, could Danny finally fulfill her great potential?
Our captains have done a great job, you know, being the leaders, but I think at different games and like different points in the season, different people have had to step up and everyone followed them. So I think that's what, you know, makes this team so special.
On the very last day, we were finished playing, and I wanted to do something to bring closure to the trip. What did we learn from it? What are we going to take from it? You know, spending 3 weeks in China. So we got an idea to take them to the spa. They'd worked hard, they had a great trip, they did a super job, so let's reward them and make them feel great with massage and pedicures and all those things. And then let's really get together and meet. We were all in our bathrobes, all in this room, and the symbolism of the bathrobes was we're all on the same level here. Coaches, players, everybody's on the same level.
And there was a lot of vulnerability. There was a lot of intimacy, like real intimacy that happened, not forced. You know, sometimes, I don't know, you just try to force it so much with little team games or whatever it is, but this was real. And I think that was a huge and just important way for us to start our season, you know, to get things clear.
Right then, I knew that we were something special, and I think everybody on the team believed it and knew we were going to win the national championship this year.
I think the chemistry was built there, and I think after that we became like sisters. You know, sisters aren't always going to agree, they're not always going to get along, but there's that love there that no matter what happens, you know they're going to be there for you.
Well, thanks for being here. We've just finished our
The bond that develops between the team and coaches in Asia is soon tested.
Every team has adversity and challenges and opportunities that come up throughout the evolution of a team. We made a decision to keep Chris Hoteling out for the year and not even mess with trying to get her back so that she can heal properly.
Shoulder surgery sidelines Christina Hoteling, the National Volleyball Player of the Year. Coach Cook's focus turns to player development. Dani Busboom shifts from offensive setter to libero, the defensive specialist. And Nebraska's new starting outside hitter is Danny Mancuso.
Great leaders, are always trying to take a negative and make it a positive. And so obviously it threw Danny Mancuso into a major role in our team.
Obviously, my mindset had to change from, just focusing on like worrying about her and like, okay, is she gonna be okay and all this stuff. Now I have to prepare myself. Like I have to get ready. This is my chance, this is my opportunity.
And the block by Mancuso.
Great setup by Mancuso.
In early non-conference play, Minnesota proves to be Nebraska's toughest opponent. Nebraska fights back to win Game 4. Ranked number 1 in the nation, the Huskers find a surprise in Boulder, Colorado. Despite a career night for Tracy Stalls, the team suffers its first loss of the season, falling in 5 games to unranked Colorado.
It was a wake-up call for the team. And because we were undefeated, and because we were Nebraska, and because we were ranked number 1, these teams aren't going to roll over for us. It's almost like, man, we can lose to anybody. That vulnerability became reality. And once you feel that, then you're starting to fight a little bit harder because you don't want to go through that again.
The Huskers bounce back to win the Big 12 and remain number 1. In their final home game appearance at the Coliseum, friends give a heartfelt farewell to seniors Dani Busboom and Danny Mancuso.
And I still see, like on that night, how nervous the two Dannys were. They've been there for 4 years and how nervous they are to still go out there in front of that crowd knowing it's senior night.
It was amazing. The first time I walked on the floor, I had tears in my eyes, and the last time I walked off it, I had tears in my eyes. So I can't say, you can give words, amazing, unreal, but they don't even measure or describe what it really feels like. Like I don't have any words to describe it. Our freshman year, if one person wasn't with us, they'd be like, hey, where's Danny at, because we were always together. Our senior year together, we just really looked to each other and just to help each other out and just really made sure that we both enjoyed it and we made sure that our teammates enjoyed it. She'll always be one of my best friends.
The Huskers breeze through the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament in the Coliseum and travel to Gainesville for the NCAA Regionals, beating San Diego.
The drama all changed when Minnesota beat Florida because mentally we were prepared to play Florida almost as an underdog on Florida's court. And when Minnesota beat them, it changed the complete psychology of our team. That's when the pressure multiplied by 100.
Earlier in the season, Nebraska nearly lost to Minnesota at home in the Coliseum. Now, on a neutral court, the odds are against Nebraska, down 2 games at intermission.
We wanted to win so bad. A lot of the time it's not going to happen. You just have to let it happen, and we were almost forcing it. And Minnesota was taking advantage of that.
Our strong point was our team dynamic, that togetherness, and being able to look each other in the eye and say, we're not going to get this done if we do it individually.
Tracy pulled us together. It was mostly about, we're not playing for the people waiting for us in Omaha. We're not playing for anybody but each other.
Individuals don't make up a circle. It's that ring. It's that ring that nobody can penetrate, And so we're strong. We're strong when we're in that together and we're doing it together. We're looking each other in the eye.
Down to the wire, Nebraska beats Minnesota in 5 games, clinching a berth in the NCAA Final Four back home in Omaha. For Nebraska's first game with UCLA, the Quest Center Omaha is filled with 17,013 fans, an NCAA volleyball attendance record.
That Final Four was sold out as fast as a Paul McCartney concert. It was sold out in early December of the previous year.
This is history. It was very difficult to focus on playing because you're just in awe of what's happening. And that's probably why we didn't play very well in the first game against UCLA.
Sarah Pavin earns 22 kills and Tracy Stalls hits a career high of 17 kills as top-ranked Nebraska overcomes a first-game loss to defeat 4th-seeded UCLA in 4 games.
After we beat UCLA, that night, Lee Mays and I were talking, and we're like, man, we can win this thing, you know? And then, but how are we gonna get our team to really believe? Are they just happy they got to Omaha? And are they happy they just won a match? Or are they really thinking national championship? So we had to take a major gamble.
The night before the national championship game with Stanford, coaches showed the team clips from the Olympic documentary, Miracle on Ice.
After they beat the Russians, the coach is reminding them of, it's not over. You're here to win the gold medal. They're down to Finland by a goal going into the 3rd period. And they interview the guys and they talk about what happened between period 2 and period 3. And they talked about the circle. They came together as a circle. They looked at each other. And so immediately our team is reflecting back to Minnesota because that's what they did. Danny Mancuso, in my opinion, who had the most to lose. She's on the greatest stage in college volleyball in her hometown. If she went out and played poorly, it would be something she, would remember forever. Later that night, she texts me and says, "Coach, dream big, dream like a champion." So at that moment, I knew if our player who had the most to lose and had the most pressure was feeling that confident, our team was in a great place.
The championship match between #1 Nebraska and #2 Stanford is nationally telecast. And 17,209 fans are in attendance at the Quest Center, the all-time collegiate volleyball record. Stanford overcomes a 23-21 deficit in the opening game with 3 kills from Kristen Richards, en route to a 30-27 win.
I don't remember that the volleyball was perfect, as it usually isn't at that point. I thought that it was just 2 people kind of sorting themselves out in a prize fight. 2 teams that are kind of looking at their mark, trying to figure out what to do, and we just happened to win the first one.
They just believed, and it didn't matter if we were down or how we were playing, they just knew somehow they would find a way. And anytime you have a big match, you're always going to see unsung heroes step up. Danny Mancuso obviously had a big match. Sarah Pavin played great, but we all expect her to play great. But I think there was 2 players, if you really go back and watch the tape. Amanda Gates, we subbed her in, and she made 4 spectacular plays that I felt changed the momentum of the match. Here's an unsung hero who knows her role and comes in and helps this team win. And I think the other player was Rachel Schwartz. She made a couple of great plays in that match that completely turned it. Now, it's not a play that shows up in the stats or is on the highlight video or on the instant replay, but it's plays that allowed other players to win those points.
Danny Mancuso scores 12 kills. Sarah Pavin and Jordan Larson combined for 41 kills. Rachel Holloway has 58 assists, 5 blocks, and 2 kills. Danny Busboom has a match-high 21 digs. As #1 Nebraska rallies to defeat #2 Stanford for its 3rd NCAA Division I Women's Volleyball Championship.
They score! voice of Husker heaven in Omaha as they win the 2006 National Championship.
Amazingly competitive people. I mean, if you were around those two teams every day your whole life, you'd probably be driven crazy by their competitiveness. It's part of what makes great athletes be different than others. Those games are close because neither one of them is going to give in. They're going to fight till the last play, and they just are generally competitive beyond the normal level.
My parents don't smile during the matches, okay? And my mom was like almost in tears. It's a big deal. That I could celebrate with them after it meant a lot to me.
Sarah Pavan is selected as the championship's most outstanding player. She is the AVCA National Player of the Year, and she is awarded the Honda Broderick Cup, the National Collegiate Women's Athlete of the Year. She is among the most decorated women's athletes in NCAA history. And at the same time, Sarah Pavan earns a 4.0 grade point average in biochemistry at the University of Nebraska.
Just to walk out there and see, so many people, wow, they're here supporting us. These are my people, like I grew up with these people. It is possible to reach your dreams and reach your goals.
Nebraska has always, for me, been one of those places that the people, they just love the game. They love going to watch it. And you don't walk in there expecting them to be rooting against you. You know walking in there that they're going to root for their team. I mean, there's a difference there.
Terry Pettit, a big reason why the crowd is the way it is here.
I thought the state of Nebraska, the city of Omaha, certainly did themselves proud, and it was, it was the icing on the cake was having Nebraska win.
I hope there was great satisfaction for him in seeing that crowd, and because he was really instrumental 5 years ago in bringing the Final Four to Omaha.
Getting the Final Four to here with his former team had to be very special for him. I'm happy for him that it happened that way. Of course, sad that it happened at our expense.
As soon as I got off that court, I was trying to call Dr. Hibner because I knew she would be watching, and literally she was on her deathbed watching that match. Whether she stayed awake through the whole thing, I don't know, but she was the first person I called.
Towards the end, in the last couple of months, there were times that were very difficult for her, and she awoke out of a sleep at one point in time and hadn't really talked in a couple days, and grabbed her sister by the arm and said, "We got to get to the volleyball match." And so even in that stage of her life, the volleyball match was on her mind. That really nails who she was and what she was about, what was important to her.
Hi there. Before I begin, I just want to check the time here on my national championship watch. It says 2006. All right. I've played on a lot of teams, and there has been none that compares to these women and this special connection that we've had, again, going from China all the way to Omaha. It has been truly magical. And so thank you so much for being a part of that.
Dr. Hibner, Jen Saliamua taught me this. It's from our heart to you. I hope you're watching, and this one was for you. If you would have written a script for what happened this season, we graduate the greatest blocker in the history of college volleyball, Melissa Elmer. We graduate Jen Saliamua. We find out Chris Hoteling can't play this year. To be preseason ranked #1, to stay ranked #1 all year, to play knowing that we have a chance to play in a Final Four in the Quest Center, to have Danny Busboom switch positions, to overcome all those teams, and to play like we did last night, it's an incredible fairy tale. And just think of the feeling that these young women had last night, especially the ones from the state of Nebraska. They will be heroes forever. It's something that they will have for the rest of their life. This is what Nebraska is all about, is providing these opportunities for these young women to go out and dream big.
Programming on NET Television is made possible in part by U.S. Bank. The U.S. Bancorp Foundation supports charitable, educational, and community service-oriented organizations in communities across Nebraska and the nation. U.S. Bank employees dedicate their time and efforts to local causes they are truly passionate about. U.S. Bank. Wherever you go, you'll find us.
Since 1989, Talent Plus has been assisting clients with the recruitment, selection, development, and recognition of talent in the workplace. With offices in Lincoln and Singapore, associates provide talent, teamwork, and leadership to over 200 clients around the world.
Lincoln Benefit Life, dedicated to helping others realize their financial goals and dreams since 1938. Your financial security is their business. Bison, supporting youth, high school, and college athletics since 1985. On the web at bisoninc.com or 1-800-247-7668. The Match Club, a booster club of over 800 members supporting Husker volleyball. Fellow enthusiasts participate in special events to meet the players and travel to away matches in support of the team. Information available at thematchclub.org.